crazy week in Manaway. We all had that little bit of an edge. We had a bad taste in our mouth after the last 2 weeks. I asked you guys to play with a little edge. I thought we came out, we did that. Obviously, the second half, we executed what we wanted to do. And heck of a job. Heck of a job. You showed what you're capable of doing. You showed what you're capable of doing. Now our challenge becomes to be consistent. Consistent into the next week, which is homecoming. Which consistency next week on this football field to give us a nice little vault into the second half of the season and put ourselves right back in this conference race. Did a hell of a job tonight, be proud. I understand, I see all the camo. I understand tomorrow starts deer season.
So this one's a really important game for Mogador. They lost last week, and the score is bigger than the game actually was. From everything I've read and everything I've heard, it was actually a really good game between Ridge and Mogador. The final score was a little bit deceiving, but ultimately a loss is a loss. And if they lose again to Streetsboro this week, they're going to have 2 losses in the county division. And I don't know if that's a mountain that this Mogador team is going to be able to overcome, because at that point you're relying on help. And I just, looking around at the rest of the county division, I don't know if they're going to get enough help from teams like Streetsboro, from teams like Southeast and Woodridge. Somebody's going to have to get a couple of losses on Woodridge or Streetsboro, and I don't know if that's going to happen. Those 2 teams are really good. Streetsboro athletically presents a similar problem to what Woodridge did. They're fast, they're athletic, they can run the ball, they can throw the ball, they can make some plays that I don't know if Mogador is athletically equipped to stop. I hate counting out Mogador, I really do. A lot of people have their opinions about Mogador, but I happen to be a big fan of what they do and what their program is. Every year they win. Every year they replace the kids who graduated from the year before, and they just keep on rolling. And so I really, really feel weird counting them out against Streetsboro, but I just don't know if they're equipped to handle a school like Streetsboro with their numbers, their athleticism, their size. They're just they're a bigger school. They're a bigger team. They're a Metro Division team playing in the county division in terms of their athletic look. So, I mean, I'm sure Mogador's going to give them a fight. They have their own players who are pretty good. But at the end of the day, I don't know if they have enough to win this game. Just a couple of quick hits here, just kind of rounding out the rest of the league schedule. Ravenna travels to take on Norton. Ravenna, they're 0-5. They're 0-2 in the league. If you look at their losses, Aurora was a 41-14 loss. Talmadge was a 26-3 loss. So they're really good teams. Louisville beat them handily. Again, Louisville's a really good team. But, in the league, Field pulled out a 25-20 win. Roosevelt pulled out a 28-14 win. That was really close towards the end of the game. So I don't know. I don't know what to expect from Ravenna. I think we have an idea of what kind of team they are this year. Going up against teams like Talmadge, Aurora, Louisville, I think it's pretty clear that they're another level up. But they hung with teams like Field and Roosevelt. I mean, I think the potential is there to be a pretty good Metro Division team, for what that's worth. Like Coach Lenardi said after the loss to Roosevelt, they're banged up. They don't have the depth. They don't have the numbers of a school in, I think they're Division III. A Division III team you'd expect to have maybe a little bit more numbers than Ravenna has in terms of just bodies who can play. That doesn't seem to be the case. They've taken some losses along their line. And I don't know where their heads are at. I haven't seen them in a couple of weeks. So it's real hard to me to say that they're going to go to Norton and get a win. I mean, Norton's 4-1. They have 1 loss this year, and it was the first game of the year to Mogador, which take that for whatever you will. But since then, they've beaten Kenmore. They've beaten Newton Falls. They've beaten Crestwood. They've beaten Coventry. Not world beaters. The schedule isn't the toughest, but they're 4-1. And a player you need to look out for is Jake Fling. This kid for Norton. I mean, I haven't seen him. I don't know how many of you guys have seen him. Those Akron schools are a little out there, but this kid has 19 touchdowns in 5 games. That is, I don't know the whole statistical landscape of the Portage Trail Conference, but I have to think that is the top, if not one of the top in the area. Granted, he's not doing it against fantastic competition, but if you have the talent to score 19 touchdowns in 5 games, you're pretty good. I talked to Pete Thompson at Crestwood, their head coach, after their win on Friday, and I asked him what kind of team Norton was, and that was the first thing that dude brought up, is he brought up how good Fling was. He said, that kid's really talented, so I'm actually looking forward to seeing him. I don't know if I'm going to get a chance to this year, but I know that he is first and foremost on Ravenna's mind as they're trying to put together a game plan for this one. A cross-division game this week is, you see Field travel to take on Woodridge, and it's a cross-division game in that it's a Metro Division team taking on a County Division team. But in terms of numbers, in terms of size, these are two Metro Division teams playing. Woodridge is Division 4 Region 11. Field is Division 4 Region 11. Woodridge might actually be around the same size in terms of enrollment numbers as Field. So don't think of this as a small school playing a big school. If Woodridge were to win this game, it's not an upset. It's just an upset in the terms that it's a smaller division school taking on a bigger division school. Field has some momentum coming into this game. They got a win. They finally got over the hump against Ravenna. That's a great win for them. They parlayed that into a win last night on Friday against Springfield. But Woodridge is coming into this game rolling. They lost to St. V's in week 3, but I mean, everyone's going to lose to St. V's in week 3. That team's probably going to win a state championship. Since then, they blew Southeast off the field. Last week, they went to Mogador and got a win, which isn't the easiest thing in the world for that program, believe me. So when I look at them and what they bring to the table going to Field, I think it could be a fun game. Woodridge is really athletic, but you know what? So is Field. Field has some good athletes on that team. If you've got a chance to see them play, there's some kids who can run. Their quarterback, Semler's a nice quarterback, and he has some weapons out there. There's a Simpson, a Matt Coleman. There's some kids out there who can make some plays. Levi Loudon can make some plays. So it's gonna be kind of cool to see how they match up with Woodridge's team. I'm impressed with Woodridge's defense this year. I mean, in their wins, they've given up 6 points. They've given up 7 points, and then last week on the road against an experienced Mogador team, they gave up 13 points. So when they're winning, they're not just blowing teams out 45-40. They're beating teams. They're holding them to single digits. They're holding them to low double digits. So there's something to be said about them on the defensive side of the ball too. So it's not just going to be Woodridge's playmakers on offense against Field's playmakers on offense. So a couple more things to talk about as we go into week 6 in the Portage Trail Conference. Roosevelt, fresh off a big win over Ravenna, they take on Springfield as they look to continue their role of success lately. Also, we have Waterloo. Waterloo takes on Southeast. Both teams are coming into this game kind of on different ends of the spectrum. Southeast coming in with a couple losses. Waterloo's coming in after a couple of victories.
Playoff Watch 2013.
So hey, if the season were to end today, which obviously it won't, but hey, for the sake of speculation, let's just go with that premise. The PTC is on track to be about where it usually is in terms of playoff seeds. Kent Roosevelt is currently playoff eligible with the number 7 seed in Division 2, Region 3. Were the season to end also today, they would actually take on Cleveland Glenville, who is currently the number 2 team in Division 2, Region 3. Over in Division 4, Region 11, Woodridge, coming off of a couple of big wins over Southeast and Mogador, is 6th. And if the season were to end today, they would take on Chagrin Falls. Chagrin Falls is actually a familiar foe to Woodridge. Woodridge bowed out of the playoffs a couple of years ago when they made that deep run to regionals to, of all teams, Chagrin Falls. Just keep an eye on Streetsboro, who is also in Division 4, Region 11. The Rockets are currently 10th and looking for another trip to the playoffs after last year's first round bid. The Rockets have a chance to actually make up some room here in the next 3 weeks. They take on Mogador at home, they take on Woodridge at home, and they take on Roosevelt, of all teams, in their cross-division game 3 weeks from now. So if wins in 2 or 3 of those games will absolutely propel the Rockets into playoff contention. Meanwhile, again, Obviously, despite their loss to Woodridge, the Mogadore Wildcats are, again, playoff eligible, Division 6, Region 19. The Wildcats are third. They are behind South Range and St. Thomas Aquinas. Were the season to end today, the Wildcats would host New Middletown Springfield, who is currently the 6th seed in the division. Mogadore has a chance to move back up despite that loss to Woodridge. They take on Streetsboro this Friday. They travel to the borough to take on the Rockets. A win there would absolutely help their cause. Although, knowing Mogadore, they'll be just fine. I'd imagine wins in any of the next few games should keep them healthy in terms of a playoff hunt over in Region 19. Hey, that's it for Inside the PTC. Once again, you can reach me on Twitter at RCSportsNow. You can like me on Facebook, and please do, because not enough people do. I post awesome photos on Facebook, and no one ever looks at it. Like me on Facebook, please, at Colin Harris Record-Courier. You can email me at charris@recordpub.com, or you can visit us at www.recordpub.com for more information, more angles, more news, more updates, more everything on the Portage Trail Conference. Also, while I have the chance, I have been asking on Twitter and Facebook for the past couple of weeks for people to send in takes. Send in, tweet me, send in a video, send in an audio clip, something, anything, everything. I just want to hear what you think about the Portage Trail Conference this year. Who's your favorite team? Who's your least favorite team? Who's going to win the league this year? Who's not going to win the league this year? Who's the MVP? Who's the player of the year? Who's going to the playoffs? Who's going to win a playoff game? I don't care. Anything. Just keep it clean. Please keep it clean, because I don't want to get in trouble. Anywho, you can do that. You can send it to me at charris@recordpub.com. You can send it to me on Twitter. Any way you can get it to me. Send carrier pigeon. I don't care. Just get it to me somehow. That is it. Again, come back next week for more Inside the PTC. I will be here. I hope you will be too. And mahalo.